On today's episode of Parsons Productions, we're talking headlights, we're talking controls, talking brakes, talking clutch. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, y'all. In today's episode of Parsons Productions, we're getting into everything that's supposed to go here. I have boatloads of parts over there waiting to go here. We've got a sweet LED headlight. We've got custom grips. We've got custom clutch, custom brake levers, all sorts of fancy schmancy stuff that's gonna go on here. And I simply cannot tell you how excited I am for this day. I have been waiting for this for far too long. Let's install some cool parts. Okay, so the fun parts I have for this episode lay right before you. Check out what we got. So it may not look like much, but it's honest work, let me tell you. So here we have brand new short style clutch lever, and here is a brakes lever with a master cylinder. These are all the eBay specials, so I'm curious on how they work. Over here we have these. I'm really proud of. These are super sweet custom controls. So I have 3 push buttons. They're all momentary switches, and then this one is just a two switches, and these are both, that one's 1 switch, and this is also a momentary. So we have 1 momentary, 1 on and off, and then 3 momentaries as well too. Here we have a headlight mount for the super sweet, if I can show this, the super sweet headlight we're gonna install. This comes with clamps for the headlights, hardware for it, as well as a blacked out metal backing for it. I believe it's black. I'm so long since I even ordered this. Oh yeah, matte black is gonna look super good, as well as the headlight bezel itself. Over here, this is what I'm super excited for, the Z-Moon LED headlight with turn signals. This is gonna look so sweet on it. Just imagine that aggressive headlight right on the front with the gold forks. Oh, it's gonna look so good, so good. Here, last but not least, we have handlebar grips. So the old ones on there were getting a little crusty, but these I think are gonna look really cool. They're brown, they're tan. You don't see tan very often on builds like these, but I think tan is gonna look so good. I could have gone with black, but I think tan is just gonna set off a vibe. The vibes are gonna be high, that's for sure. That's all we have to install for today. I don't quite know how easily it's gonna go. Also, wiring these things up is gonna be a pain. You can see inside them, there is little connectors, so we're gonna have to undo the switches and wire up some sort of device. If you take a quick peek right here, this is what I have laid out for my schematic. So this is the stock application: high beams, latch switch, a blinker, 3-position, kill switch, engine starter, momentary, horn, hazards, and that's gonna be latch, which is also optional. This is an original Parsons Productions design. This is the 3 switch, so one's gonna be high beams, it's gonna be latched, so I may have to swap out one of these. This one's a left blinker, it's gonna be latched, I can press in, and then right blinker, you can see I've got it right there with the 22mm grip. On the right side, I've got the engine kill switch, as well as the engine starter, which is also momentary, also with the 22mm, and that one will be this one right here. That's gonna be a bit of a fun thing to do, but I'm sure we'll be able to figure it out somehow. Let's get to installing these awesome sweet parts. And just real quick before we get to installing all these parts, I need to be quite frank with you guys. I know a lot of you are curious about what's going on with the front wheel. The front wheel has been a pain in my rear for quite some time, and I think unfortunately we're gonna have to order a new wheel, because I did a bunch of research, bunch of questions, I asked a bunch of friends of mine. The ZX6R, the 2005 model, has a wider hub. The hub itself is a lot wider than the ZX600. Now, I went a ton of work to get these wheels all perfect, but I went to a junkyard and I found a ZX600 there that was stripped down. All it had was the chassis and the wheels, and I paid almost nothing for it, but the guy wanted me to take the whole thing, which I have a BRZ, and as you know, motorcycles don't necessarily fit in BRZs. So I took a little bag of tools with me, and I disassembled the whole thing, and I was able to fit it inside my car, which was a struggle to say the least. But I went through hell and back, it seems like, to get these wheels, so I'm really disappointed that they won't work. I did order the 2005 Ninja ZX6R front wheel, since it is a 17 by 3.5. They're all 17 by 3.5, most motorcycles these days. However, this one doesn't fit, and I'm so upset about that, but it's It's okay, it's okay. No one said this build was gonna be easy, and that's what I'm here to make happen. So let's install sweet parts to get our mind off of that. So I'm gonna start with this headlight mount. Seems pretty straightforward to install. I think it just needs clamp, and then there should be some hardware laying around. Okay, so the headlight mount is mounted. That was a little bit of a pain to get on, to tell you the truth. It doesn't look too bad. I feel like it's a little high. Like these could go down lower. I'm not super crazy with this mount. I had to use some extra hardware. I'm really glad I bought this because I use that all the time. But other than that, it doesn't look too bad. I do think that that's a little high. I do want to move it down just about an inch or so, but no, it looks just so good. Next on the list, we have the headlight itself. We've got the little bezel here as well for it. I'm curious how this is gonna work because I've got this cluster of wires down here that I don't quite know what I'm doing with, but let's give it a shot. I think that looks better. Just a little bit lower, just so you can see the top of the triple tree there. Okay, so I think this is the top. It doesn't say anywhere on the back where the top and the bottom is, but that is gonna mount. I really hope it's the same diameter. All right, that's gonna fit. I don't quite know how this is gonna work, but let's see. It came with these little clips. I don't quite know how these are supposed to work. That's gonna go on like that. Whoever invented these little wire clips, this is just a bad idea. Like they're so annoying. I watched a couple videos on this because I was very, very confused. And like these little clips go in, and there's this little ridge under the headlight piece, and they're just impossible to get in. Like I'm gonna be here for a while, so stand by and I'll figure this out. I don't know who was the creator of these little clips in the back, but it's just the worst idea ever. I feel like as soon as I hit a bump or something, these things are just gonna go pop off. Like you can see the clips in there are they're just funky. It's not the greatest thing, but it took forever and I watched a couple of videos on it. One just went flying across the room. Now we're down to 2. I just got done saying how much I didn't like these, but it's in. I need to go find that one that just flew across the room. I have no clue where that one went. I can't find that one. That sucks. If anyone has a better idea on how to mount these things, please do let me know in the comments down below, because I haven't the foggiest of clues. But this is ready to go in. Toss it in there temporarily. Just see how the things look. Wow, that's looking so good. Goodness gracious. Oh, I found the clip. Just laying on the bench. How did that happen? Nice. Stupid little thing. There's a saying us motorcycle builders like to use. Buy cheap parts. We get cheap quality. This thing looks pretty darn sweet. Pretty darn sweet indeed. I got a few complaints though. Like it's just cheap. Like it doesn't, yeah, it looks nice, but it's just things do not go together well. My wise roommate once said, buy once, cry once. And that is very much true. I did lose one of the screws and I cannot find it to save my life. Like I am looking all over for this thing. Like the clips, I mean, they're in. Like I don't think that headlight's going anywhere, but I'm worried like I'm riding it, I'll hit a bump and the whole headlight's just gonna fall out. But it's in there for the most part. Like I lost one of the screws I said, so I used one of those. You can see it's a little different, but you won't notice that unless it's me or unless it's you guys, because I just told you. But next up on our list, I think, is our hand grips as well as the controls and the braking clutch levers. Okay, we're gonna start with the brake lever. That would go right there, I'm assuming, and then we'll do the control, and then we'll do the handlebar grip. I don't have mirrors yet, but I think that should be something in my near future. Oh, that is looking so cool. Just freaking love that. I almost forgot to show you guys, but I have this new, well, it's all covered in dust, it's been sitting in the house, but this new throttle control, so that'll twist right on over there. Brake cover, the handlebar grip will go right over there. So that'll go on just like that, and followed by the grip. I'm gonna put the grip on very last because I know I'm not quite done mocking this all up. That's what it'll look like when it's all done. God, it's looking so good. Okay, and then on this side will be our clutch lever. It'll go on over that, but I think now it's time to do some wiring magic. So right here we have our old throttle cable. There's also the kill switch and whatnot. Those are the wires that go to it. What I need to do is I need to figure out how we're going to fit this throttle cable in there. We'll loosen these. I left these all loose for the time being because I knew I was going to dig into this later. And today is that day. So I need to figure out how to get this cable out of here. I don't quite know how we're gonna do that because it's crimped on there. Oh, just like that. Okay, cool. All right, well, this is the new one. Alrighty, so I got the throttle all taken care of. You can see if I twist this, we got nice, quick throttle response. That is pretty nice. It's still grinding up a little bit. I've got a loose bolt right there, or it's gonna be a loose nut, so I'm gonna take the carbs off eventually anyway, so I'll fix it then. But other than that, we got that all squared away, and that's pretty sweet. I was gonna put the hand grip on. We need to wait until we get the switches all taken care of. I'm gonna go ahead and put that on hold for a little bit. You know, the hardest part about this is finding out what goes to what. There's an absolute rat's nest of wires going down here. Like, I have no clue what any of these are to. I mean, I probably should have labeled them in hindsight, but we're past that point now. And looking over everything, I've got everything set. So this is to the kill switch as well as the starter. I've got those wires sorted. These are the ignition cables. This is the headlight cables. These are the blinker cables. And for everything else, the hazards, the horn, the turn signals, and the brights. What all of this nonsense is, I haven't the foggiest of clue. So I may try to pull up a wiring diagram or something. That might be a safe bet to tear into. And I know this bike did have a cafe racer conversion earlier on in its life, prior to me purchasing it. So a lot of these wires may be from accessories that are no longer here. So I may be okay. So I'm gonna just start tackling into things and see what's what. Well, everyone, I'm running into a little bit of an electrical issue at the moment. It's starting to turn into an electrical disaster, to tell you the truth. I wired up the starter switch as well as the ignition switch, and I don't quite understand why it's not turning on. There's a clutch safety switch as well, too. I'm gonna have my buddy come take a look at it. He's my roommate, the one with the STA. He knows a lot about electrical, so I'm gonna let him have his way with a little bit of this. Other than that, I'm gonna wrap this episode up, so I hope you enjoyed another wonderful episode of Parsons Productions, and I will catch y'all in the next installment of the KZ Modernization Build Series. Adios.